Well, greetings and welcome to this edition of Dharma Dirt here at the Old Dog's Endo at Iron Mountain. There's an old folk song whose words I will recite, sparing you my singing. It goes like this. Where do you come from? Where do you go? Where do you come from, Cotton-eyed Joe? Come for to see you. Come for to sing. Come for to show you my diamond ring. Old Cotton-eyed Joe never answers the question, does he? Like a good Zen master, he presents the present moment, but not the where from or the where to. But those are the two great questions all of us ask, aren't they? Where did I come from? Where will I go? Where was I before I was born? Where will I go when I die? Zen people often put it this way. Show me your face before your parents were born. We spend hours, years, decades on the mat. We study, we work on koans or whatever practice of zazen that we find works. We work all our lives to come to grips with just those two questions. Faced with these questions, everything else fades into insignificance. As we know, the Buddha did not care to deal with such metaphysical matters. His concern was not about past origins or future fates. It was about right now, this moment. Is he in denial, avoiding reality? The common prayer says, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We begin as ash and dust, and we return to ash and dust. Well, maybe that part's true. We come from somewhere or other, and we return to somewhere or other. But what is that somewhere? Where is that other? Our lives are circumscribed in time by birth at one end and death at the other. We are limited in space as well. We think of this self as whatever is contained within this skin bag. Inside is my self, outside is other. In Buddhism, the stated goal of practice is something called liberation. But liberation from what? It is not some kind of escape from reality or a way to literal or physical immortality, nor is it an escape from karma or the law of cause and effect. We're all prisoners. For reasons that stem from the beginningless beginning, we have imprisoned ourselves in an illusion. It's a very complex and subtle illusion. Complex and vast, almost beyond imagining. But it is an illusion nonetheless. How and why it began is beyond the scope of this talk. In fact, it is beyond even the teachings of the Buddha. But we can explore the parameters of this self-constructed prison. They boil down to just two. And they are really two aspects of our one reality. They are the illusions of time and of space, the two-headed dragon of our existence. This time-space prison is so ingrained in our consciousness that we don't even notice it. But why? Why do we cling to this illusory life of space-time? There's a little ditty that focuses directly on the matter. Time exists so that everything doesn't happen at once. Space exists so that everything doesn't happen to me. This is the fundamental why of time and space. Me. The ultimate reason for time and space is the creation and continuance of the separate ego self. The I, me, and mine. It doesn't just dominate our life, it is our life. The time-space illusion is the absolute requirement for the existence of any separate entity, being, object, or Dharma. We move through time and space, we think, like a fish moves through water. And just as the fish is the last to notice water, we are very slow to acknowledge this medium through which we move. We create time-space, or space-time, and place ourselves at its center. All things are seen as being at a distance from here and now, of me. Space radiates away from us as distance and direction. Time radiates away from us as past and future. Why is this voluntary imprisonment so important? What does it have to do with life and death? Answer: everything. To exist, to live in the world of time and space, is to create limits. If there is space, we are limiting our extent in space. If there is a me in here and an other somewhere out there, our individual space is circumscribed. If there is time, there is necessarily a beginning and an end to everything that exists. There is birth, growth, maturity, age, illness, and death. This self that exists in time and space is circumscribed, limited by time and space. Time and space are the fundamental illusion. Existence and non-existence depend on time and space. For something to exist, it must occupy some amount of space for some length of time. It comes into being, or assembles, at time A, and perishes, it dissipates, at time B. Its karmic energy is exhausted, just as the arrow shot into the air eventually loses energy and falls back to earth. Time and space are also necessary for one of the most basic tenets of Buddhism, the law of cause and effect. It is said that each of us is nothing more than cause and effect. Sayings like, rain falls, the earth gets wet. When hungry, eat. When tired, rest. All reinforce cause and effect. The entire scientific enterprise is the study of cause and effect. The Buddha's first teaching, the first turning of the Dharma wheel, is the wheel of becoming. Ignorance leads to separate and distinct formations and objects, which lead to sensations or perception, which leads to thoughts and opinion, which leads to actions, which changes the formations we perceive, and so on, around and around. This is the endless circle of birth and death that we call samsara. Is that it then? Well, as the Wizard of Oz said to Dorothy, not so fast. The sage Nagarjuna wrote, ordinary people have become like a wheel which revolves without rest. That is, while a wheel revolves serially, each point on the circumference following upon the preceding one, in the three spheres of past, present, and future, It does not happen thus. Therefore, uncertainty is indicated. Uncertainty. Oh dear. Well, if anyone can inject uncertainty into this matter, it's Dogen. He writes, yesterday and today are both in the moment when you directly enter into the mountains and see thousands of myriads of peaks. Yesterday's time and today's time do not go away. Do not think that time merely flies away. Do not see flying away as the only function of time. If time merely flies away, you would be separated from time. The reason you do not clearly understand time being is that you think of time only as passing. Oh dear, look at the time. Time flies. Time passes. Where did the time go? Do you see how we look at time as something separate? Time to do this. Time to do that. I don't have the time. Oh, there's plenty of time. Time is always some sort of commodity to be measured and paid for. Dogen continues, the time being has the quality of flowing. So-called today flows into tomorrow. Today flows into yesterday. Yesterday flows into today. And today flows into today. Tomorrow flows into tomorrow. So, time is not the linear process we thought it was, flowing along a line from past through present into the future. Time is being, being is time. Nothing can exist outside of time. Existence itself requires time. But is time the same for all of us? Is there a common clock ticking for all beings, all that breathes and does not breathe? Here's another famous quote from Dogen. Firewood becomes ash, and it does not become firewood again. Yet do not suppose that ash is future and that firewood is past. You should understand that firewood abides in the phenomenal expression of firewood, which fully includes past and future and is independent of past and future. Ash abides in the phenomenal expression of ash, which fully includes future and past. Now things get complicated. Every Dharma, phenomena, object, or particle abides in its own phenomenal expression or Dharma position that includes past and future and is independent of past and future. That is to say, each phenomenon or object, in the widest sense, occupies its own time-space existence with its own past and future. Time being is different for every being. This amounts to a kind of Einsteinian Dharma relativity. The theory of relativity states that no matter where you are in space, no matter what direction or velocity you move, the speed of light is always perceived as the same relative to you. I contend that the universe is the same. No matter where you are, the karmic universe and all its activity is relative to you. Dogen goes on. But since time retains the characteristic of coming and going, being continually in flux, there is a flow of ever-present nows, each comprised of a time when an I exists. Now, with respect to the translator here, I have to take issue. The trap we can fall into is to postulate this moment as containing past and future, and then this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment as a series of discontinuities. But you see what happens? We create another timeline, a kind of meta timeline. Now, Dogen's purpose, I suspect, is to detach us entirely from the notion of linear time that flows from past through present into future. Time can flow forward, backward, up, down, and sideways. The very quality of flowing is time, and time is the quality of flowing. Flowing is an attribute of this moment. If I were a mathematician, I would say that flowing is the slope of the curve as delta approaches zero. In the conventional way of things, cause must always precede effect. But if there is no linear time, if time does not always flow from past through present into future, then the notion of cause and effect is meaningless. This leads us inexorably towards codependent origination. If this is, that is. If this is not, that is not. Notice that it's all in the present tense. Past, present, and future are not separate. Master Feng Shui understood this when he said to the assembled monks, "If one particle of dust is raised, the state will come into being. If no particle of dust is raised, the state will perish." Shui Do, at a later time, raising his staff, said to his disciples, "Is there anyone among you who can live with it and die with it?" If one particle of dust is raised, the state will come into being. The 10,000 things all arise, all in this moment. Wow. Only one particle, a mote of dust, an atom, an electron, a single quark, a thought, and all else, human beings and other beings, mountains, rivers, the great wide earth, all come into being. This is codependent origination. Everything depends on and is supported by everything else. If no particle of dust is raised, the state will perish. All that breathes and does not breathe disappear. Nothing, no thing remains. So which is it? A particle raised or a particle not raised? Which side are you on? Once again, we're faced with a trap of dichotomy. Yes, all exists, or no, nothing exists. Where do you come down? Do you seek certainty? There are two places where you can find it. One, in the world of the material, of the 10,000 things. All you are is a collection of molecules, ions, interacting according to the immutable laws of physics and chemistry. Those laws govern all you are, all you do, all you think, all you have ever been or ever will be. Even your practice is completely predetermined. It will change nothing. Certainty. 2. In the world of emptiness, there is nothing. No person, no self, no other, no light, no dark, no good, no evil, no joy or suffering. no compassion, nothing. No thing exists. So nothing matters. Do whatever you like. It's all nothing. Nihilism, certainty. Shui Do comes to the rescue. How? He raises his staff. What just happened? Did I raise a stick? Are you sure? Do you see it now? If you don't see it now, where did it go? Can you describe this? No one, not even the Buddha, can describe, speak of, or even think about this. But you can see it. You can realize it. In fact, you are it. Can you live with it and die with it? Not only can you, you must. It is nonetheless uncertain, unpredictable, even unknowable. Blink and you've missed it. This does not come forth in time and space. It comes forth as time and space. We come forth as time, space, every moment, and every moment we pass away. There is no hope in clinging to one side or the other. You can be totally immersed in things, events, cause and effect, scattered and lost, banged around by an uncaring universe. Or you can become totally nothing, empty of purpose, meaning, and of humanity, a walking corpse. Between, or maybe beyond this, is uncertainty. It is sometimes said that we walk a knife edge between one and the other. No, it's not a knife edge. It is a broad, open, and generous world of the unknown and unknowable, infinitely complex, ever fascinating and mysterious. It is where we live, truly live. It is where our practice lives. Where did we come from? Where will we go? Not a relevant question. Our direct experience of the here and now is the only place and the only time. We will find no certainty or peace by choosing a side. The certainty you seek outside yourself is a chimera, a mirage. Peace can only be found in the midst of uncertainty, even turmoil. How can we do this? Focus on seeing, not what is seen. Focus on hearing, not what is heard. The same for all your senses. Pure seeing is the Buddha's seeing. Pure hearing is the Buddha's hearing. This helps you detach from the seen and the heard. In activity, focus on the doing, not on what gets done. One doing. This is the Buddha's work. Time and space are an illusion that is only there to support a separate self. Can we let go of them? We can do it within the sphere of time and space if we're willing to spend uncountable lifetimes. But by realizing it thoroughly and completely in this moment, we can see not what the Buddha saw, but as the Buddha saw and heard and tasted and smelled and touched. By immersing ourselves in the processes of life in the moment, rather than some notion of future results, we focus not on what we are, or what we are, but on pure being itself. We become Buddha. Together with all beings, we realize the way.